Hey, this is Kathy. I'm the brand and website designer at Bright Matter Studio. And this is my podcast where I share my realizations on my business journey as a woman of color and expat living abroad in Germany. And I just want to share with you out there if you're also on your journey of doing your business as a way of world making, and you're seeking conversations that help you connect your own dots. So today's a little story time. I wanted to share my story with you to give you a little behind the scenes backstory about how I came to be a website designer, how I came to be in my work, and how I came to live, of all places, in Germany. So I was born in Korea, in Seoul, and my family, we immigrated to the US and we landed in Sacramento, California, when I was about 9 years old. And I grew up there, and I went to university in the Bay Area. I went to Berkeley, studied architecture there. And this is kind of like where the point in my life where I realized, oh, I don't just do one thing. Like I'm just interested in a lot of things. So there was already a pattern kind of like establishing where I'm going between music and visual arts. So I always have been interested in both. I think both have been really important tools for self-expression and the way I was connecting with the world. So eventually, in my mid 20s, I actually came to Germany to study classical piano. And that's kind of where my adventure in Germany started to study here. But then I ended up moving to Berlin, and I had this amazing, flourishing creative life in Berlin, where I actually left the establishment. I quit music school, the conservatory, right? I stepped out of the music school setting because I found, learning about something that just comes straight from you, and directly from you. And I was like missing that kind of like immediate link to my own creativity and how I relate that with performing for an audience. Anyway, it was a little bit stifling. So I left the classical music setting to explore music in a more open, more free way. And I kind of entered the experimental music scene, experimenting with composition. And yeah, just I was trying to turn music um, away from more like interpreting older works, older European, compositions, and turning it more into like a direct medium for expression. One thing, and because it became such an open, free room, and I think that's where my interest in the visual arts started to sort of like mingle in. I started to tinker with short films, incorporating my music in there, and these were all like just kind of like secretive, not open to the public, like personal projects. But I had like instead of going to an art school that I had actually gotten acceptance for in New York, I decided to actually not invest so much, actual money into getting a degree then, but to kind of like it was so much cheaper to actually just stay living in Berlin to, support my life where I was just experimenting freely. So that's the path I took. So um, luckily, my sister was actually a partner in crime in this period. So we both collaborated on a lot of projects. We were kind of, going on a parallel journey, doing this together. So we were quite a creative duo and we did a lot of things together. And little by little, we started shifting into, okay, how do we translate this into now like a financially feasible livelihood? So then we turned visual storytelling, it went from making little short films into creating animations. And we taught ourselves how to use After Effects, and we kind of like started going at it. And what became then motion graphic design. So we got into motion graphic design in Berlin and started interning at different small production companies, and that eventually led us to pursue our own freelance life as motion graphic designers. So yeah, that's kind of like how we went, how I personally went from music into visual arts, and how that became from the artistic setting into something more commercially applicable. And then that became eventually something that I had an awakening moment with. As soon as I got pregnant with my first child, I was still living in Berlin, and I was starting to feel like, but this is not everything. This is not why I got into creativity, into the creative field, was not to just serve big corporations and brands. Working for creative agencies. And I slowly started to experiment with working directly with small business owners, and turned the storytelling medium from motion graphic design, making short films, into the medium of website designs. And even though that was like a whole new skill set that I needed to learn, in essence, website design was also, in a way, a medium of storytelling for the business, for the brand. And I, so as you see, I came from more like an artistic background and approach to creating website designs. And I think that's what gives me the kind of special angle that I've been developing over the years. So here we are in 2025, and this is the work I'm in and that I am really happy about. Yeah, I'm just so excited to pursue this, continue to pursue this, and see how now I can take the skills that I have, the experience that I have, and create experiences, maybe educational experiences or other ways to support small business owners, entrepreneurs who are here really with a mission and a vision. Another thing that I have forgotten to mention is that between 2018 and now, we've had a lot of like life changes, my family. So um, my husband and I, we decided to move back to California, and we tried that out for 2 years. And then we moved back to Germany in 2020. And amidst that, I had my second child. So there's been a lot of like also pauses in between, intercontinental moves back and forth. But Bright Matter Studio has really been a point of like a place where I really rooted myself into. And I just took it with me wherever I was. And I'm still working with the people that I would like to work with. And it's just really incredible that when you have an online business, you can really like just take it with you, and you're investing into this space that anchors you. And it's really an investment for yourself and for the rest of your life when you spend time growing your own business. Or at least it's been that way for me. And I'm really grateful that I have this creative practice and this business that I created that I really adore. So that's my story in a nutshell, and how Bright Matter Studio has formed. And if you have any questions, just reach out, and maybe I'll make a podcast out of that. Thanks for listening, and talk soon.